Hello. How's it going? Oh, good. I'm 28 years old, soon to be 29. It's funny, as you get older, your priorities start to change. Like back when I was 18, I spent all my time worrying that everyone else was having sex. Now that I'm 28, I spend all my time worrying that everyone else is having sex in houses that they own. Trying to stay in shape as I get older. It's hard though, right? Because the only sport that I enjoy is the French sport of boule. Do we know boule? If you don't know boule, it's like a cross between curling and bowls. It's played in parks by the elderly. It takes ages. And I love the fact that they called it boule, because boule just means ball. Imagine the confidence of inventing a sport that dull and long-winded and being like, yeah, this is probably going to be the main ball sport. Would you call it boule, save everyone some time? That's like discovering cauliflower and then calling it food. I'm in my late 20s, that makes me a millennial. That's the word people use about us. I don't like that term, because for me the word millennium has very negative connotations. And it's not just because of Robbie Williams. It's because of what happened to me on Millennium Eve. Right? New Year's Eve 1999 was my 10th birthday. And having a birthday on New Year's Eve is great, as long as you don't mind spending the last 10 seconds of every birthday listening to your entire family and friends counting down to when it's not your birthday anymore. But that year, I really wanted to do something for my 10th birthday, but everything was closed because it was the millennium, and all my friends were busy. They had family parties. So my parents drove me to the only place that was open that night, which was a McDonald's drive-through, about half an hour from my house. And we got McDonald's, and we ate it in a bus shelter on Weymouth seafront, watching the fireworks from across the bay, heralding the dawn of a new millennium. Me sitting in the corner shivering, eating the world's most ironically named Happy Meal, praying to God that the free toy would be human-shaped so I could say there were more people at my birthday party. Ending the night rushing home so that my dad could stay up with a cricket bat just in case the VCR tried to murder us at midnight. Millennium bug joke. Not many comedians still doing those in 2018. No, but I think it says a lot about how our relationship with computers has changed, right? Like 18 years ago, we were like, silly computers might get confused and think they haven't been invented yet. Now we're like, silly computers might rig a string of elections and accidentally start a nuclear war. Like back then, if we thought computers were going to get confused and think that it was the year 1900, we were scornful. Now, if computers told us that it was 1900, we'd be like, as you wish, sir. Back up the chimney, kids. The computers have spoken. I wasn't always 28. It's true, for a while I was 21. And back when I was 21, I lived in Spain for a year. I was studying Spanish at university at the time, and I went over there to improve my Spanish. Because I don't know if you know this about Spain, but over there, Spanish is all the rage. They absolutely love it. They love Spanish so much in Spain that they named their country after it. First thing I had to do in Spain was find somewhere to live. You might have heard the Spanish expression, mi casa es su casa. Turns out that is not legally binding. You do have to pay for your casa. So I went flat hunting. Right, the first place I looked at, it was going very well. The landlord was showing me around. And then I opened a door that I should not have opened. And behind that door was a room full of apples. Not apples in boxes. Loose. Best way to describe it is, you know the elevator scene in The Shining? Where the lift door opens and all the blood spills out. It was like that, except instead of blood, it was apples. And instead of Jack Nicholson, it was even more apples. The landlord saw what I was doing and he ran over and he slammed the door. And he looked me right in the eye and he said, "Never go in the apple room." Again. And he said it in a way that implied, if you ever touch my apples, I will break every bone in your tiny English body. And no one will come to help you because I've got enough apples to keep away every single doctor in Spain. I didn't move into the Apple house. I moved into the next place that I looked at, which I ended up sharing with a Spanish girl called Alba. Now, Alba was about 5 years older than me. She had a pink mohawk. She had 2 pet rats. And she had a tattoo on her shoulder of a pair of scissors and a dildo. And they were crossed like a coat of arms. Like she came from a long family line of people who like doing 2 things: cutting stuff and fucking stuff. Alba had 2 jobs. She was a hairdresser and she was also a drug dealer. Now, there are 2 types of drug dealer in the world. There are those who treat it like a business, behave professionally. And then there's the second group, which is people who got into selling drugs because one time they bought too many drugs. Alba was definitely in that group. I lived with her for about 3 months. I went home for Christmas that year. I came back in January, and I found out that she'd burned down my kitchen and then run away. She just fled. And in the midst of the charred wreckage of my kitchen, I found a note from Alba that said, "Dear Martin, I don't mean to nag, but can you please do your washing up? You're not the only person who lives here." And that note was not burned in the slightest, suggesting that she wrote it after the fire. Like she burned down my kitchen and then was like, "Well, I've done my share of the housework. Nothing more cleansing than fire." I can't believe she left a note. I think I might have met the world's only passive-aggressive arsonist. "Calling the fire brigade, are we? I'm surprised your phone works since you never text me back." "Better tell them the fire spread to the pavement. You might not have heard of it. It's where some people put the bins out every week." "Actually, this isn't my first fire. I start fires all the time, which you'd know if you ever asked me about my day." I'm going to go. I'll leave you with this. I went to primary school in the countryside. And in the middle of our playground, we had a big pile of earth called the Mound. And every lunchtime, all the boys would climb to the top of it. And we would chant, "Boys on the Mound. No girls allowed." And all the girls were like, "We don't want to go on the Mound." It's literally made of dirt. And then we were like, "Boys on the Mound. No girls allowed." A couple of years ago, I got sick of going on bad dates. And I decided that I was going to quit dating. And I was really annoying and smug about it. Like, I started announcing it to women. Like, "Sorry, ladies, I am off the market. You will never have the chance to date me again." And all the ladies were like, "We don't want to date you. You're literally made of dirt." And I was like, "Boys on the Mound." Thank you.